Sandra and I'm the Early Years Mentor at Preparing for Life. And this video is about exploring the ways we can continue to support children and families during the restrictions of COVID-19. And this video is a follow-up from an online support session that we did through Zoom a few weeks back. And some that joined us in that session were sharing really good ideas about how they are connecting and supporting families at the moment. And so I've incorporated their suggestions and ideas into this video also. So usually our jobs very much involve direct contact with children, with families, and this is how we offer our services and supports under normal circumstances. But things have changed and changed immensely, and now we are at a distance, we are working from home in some cases, and yet we are still rising to the challenge to support children and families, to maintain the relationships that we've worked so hard to build over the last couple of months or years, and giving families that feeling that they're not alone and that we're still here and available. So we may be available and looking to support families, but our services are going to look very different at the moment. Explain to them how your service delivery has changed, but that there are still supports that you can offer to them, and let them know what they're going to be over the next couple of weeks. Some have shared that they're doing check-ins with families, just letting them know that they're there. If they need support, they can ask. Some services are sending out activity packs or play packs. Staff are going to continue to connect and communicate with families during this time, and with those communications they're going to be sharing activities, ideas and inspiration of things that can be done at home, information and resources on coping with change, setting routines. They're the type of things that parents and families are going to be looking for information about. Let them know where else they're going to find information that you share and post regularly. For example, social media channels. If you have a Facebook page, let them know the name of the Facebook page. And some services are lucky to be in the position where they're able to offer extra levels of supports, such as food hampers or play, letting the parents know on a week-to-week basis the supports that you're able to offer, because that might change as the weeks go along. What came back from the Zoom session is that services are communicating and connecting with families using text messages, a phone call, WhatsApp or Viber groups, sending voice notes in the groups to families or to children individually. Services have been creating content for social media channels, such as videos of educators or staff members reading storybooks, demonstrating activities, or singing familiar songs, things like that. In some cases, service dependent, they've been linking in with children and families through video calls. Yep, this might happen at the beginning because families are adapting to all the changes in their lives and trying to establish routine, and the day gets away with you and you don't respond or get back to people. But I suppose as the weeks go on and you find that there are families who you haven't heard from in a while, consider picking up the phone and giving them a ring to check in. Also be a case that the channel of communication you're using to send out information or materials isn't reaching that family. Could just be a matter of asking that family what's the best way of getting materials to them. It looks like and it sounds like everyone's doing a really good job on this already. If I was to offer tips, I would say, again, think about, is the information you're sending out reaching everybody? The next tip would be, based on the feedback we hear from families and parents, that they're concerned about the level of time children are missing from school or from preschool, and the fact that homeschooling and home teaching is a huge task to manage during this time. Choose activities that you send out that are really playful and encourage times for play between parents and children. Also, we know the magnitude of learning and development opportunities that are available through play for children. When we're sending out activities or games or topics to discuss, that we send a little bit of extra information to explain why you chose that activity to send, the areas of development that supports for children, and maybe some tips and prompts on how parents can make those play experiences a learning opportunity. And then my next tip would be to think about, is there content or materials or resources that you can create for parents to use so that parents can work on their play skills at home? Because sometimes we might forget the level of skill it takes us to teach children through play-based activities. And now is the time to really share that expertise and experience with parents and families. I would agree that Facebook has been a really popular platform for services and families to communicate more interactively, and it's definitely a space where you can create more interactive content such as the story time or the demonstration of activities or the messages to children. But I would say never use a personal Facebook account to communicate with families. Set up a business page and make very clear decisions about what gets posted on the page and what doesn't get posted on the page. Never share photographs of children without their parent or guardian's permission, and make sure to choose an administrator who can regularly check Facebook to remove inappropriate comments or material. And at the same time, put a boundary to the hours of operation of that Facebook page. So the Facebook page responds and interacts between the hours of 9 and 5, for example. To this, I would say you are definitely not alone. We're all still trying to adapt to this new way of working, considering it's the total opposite to our normal way of working, which is directive and relationship-based ways of working with families and children. But in order to help others, we must look after ourselves, which is even more difficult at this time because our usual self-care strategies may not be possible at this time. We are removed from our friends and our families, and some of us are working from home while also taking care of families. But what we talked about at the Zoom was, number one, being kind to yourself. There'll be some days where you feel really motivated and you get lots of work done, and there will be other days where your brain will just say, no, I'm not feeling as motivated, we need to slow down here and take a rest, and that's okay too. For myself, if I'm struggling to get going with a piece of work for the day, I set myself a small goal, and when I accomplish that goal, I really feel much better and it helps me to progress with doing the next piece. Your usual self-care strategy is not possible at the moment. Identify what you can do while you're at home to help yourself feel more regulated. So have that cup of tea, have that bar of chocolate, go for the walk around the garden, sit by the window, find something or somewhere that's going to be your safe haven for now. And I realise that those tips are very generalised, but just remember that this is an unprecedented time and there is no right way or wrong way to handle this. We just have to take each day as it comes, and if we're trying our best to support children and families, that's the most we can do for now. I would say another thing to remember is be mindful of children's protection and welfare at this time. You still have a duty of care to children and families. If you have concerns, you have to follow the usual procedures and protocols that you would have done if you were still in your service. Raise your concerns to your designated liaison person, follow your child protection and welfare policy, or if that's not possible, you contact the local Tusla duty social worker and they will advise. If there is anything in this video that you'd like more information on or support with, please do contact the Preparing for Life team. Find our contact details on our website preparingforlife.ie. Daily activities and inspiration is posted on our Facebook page every day if you'd like to check it out. And if there's anything in particular you'd like to see videos on, please leave a comment and see you soon.